Hello, friends. Today I would like to go in a different direction from the videos that we have done in the last 8 weeks. Typically, we try to address themes that are roughly timeless. Obviously, we're recording these in the spring of 2020, and the coronavirus and sheltering in place are themes that appear woven in from time to time, depending on what we're addressing, so that the broader time frame that we're in is something that pops up once in a while. But we seldom talk about something specifically today or specifically this week. And just now I would like to address that. Today is Thursday, May 14th. And 2 days from now, in the evening of Saturday, May 16th, in Pacific time, we will have the 100th anniversary celebration of Yogananda's arrival in America here in Ananda, Sacramento. It will be streamed live, and you're most welcome to join us. We invite you to join us. And this is a celebration of Yogananda as a person, as a spiritual avatar and bringer of light into the world, but it's also a celebration of his impact in America and on our lives. And of course, these themes will be explored much more completely on Saturday evening. We will have Jyotish and Devi, spiritual directors of Ananda Worldwide, addressing Yogananda's bringing yoga to America and the implications of that. We'll also have Phil Goldberg, author of a biography of Yogananda, who did fascinating research on Yogananda's years in America, material that, to my knowledge, has not appeared compiled elsewhere. And it's a fascinating study, and so we'll be blessed to have an address by him as well. But today I wanted to just introduce the concept of this celebration, because 100 years ago seems like a long, long time ago. Maybe one of us, maybe some of us know someone who is 100 years old, or even a little more than 100 years old. That's getting right up there. And those people who are that old were infants or young children in 1920. So historically, it goes well beyond our grandparents and into our great-grandparents and perhaps beyond that as well. It seems like a long, long time ago, and yet it is not. It is very recent, and yet so much has happened. And Yogananda brought a vision of spiritual progress to the world, but also to the West particularly, because he was helping to join East and West in a way that is extremely meaningful and important in these days. We had the blessing, Nirmala and I had the blessing of spending almost 9 years in India, and got to sort of be on the leading edge of that movement. In fact, there was even an author who interviewed us in terms of spiritual movements that began somewhere, went elsewhere, and then returned back to their roots. And our spiritual roots are in India, but Yogananda brought that tradition to America, pruned it, narrowed it, focused it, clarified it, expressed it here in the West, and then we had the opportunity to bring that back to India and see how it did in India. And it was an amazing experience. It was so inspiring. We could think, and people sometimes asked us, isn't this a bit like bringing coals to Newcastle, teaching meditation in India? But in fact, it is highly relevant to daily life and highly important to bring these practices into what we do every day. And so we had the honor and privilege of doing that in India. Now we've been back in America for more than 7 years, And it is a blessing to be able to share them here. And it's a blessing to continue to bring that balance of East and West more prominent. And so this Saturday, feel that this is a worldwide event, though it is focused in a sense here geographically, but because we're broadcasting it live and because we will not be as a group in person, it really is a world event. I was inviting friends on Facebook to something recently and realizing that we'll celebrate Swamiji's birthday next week. May 19th was his birthday. And I was inviting people literally from all over the world to join us, from Russia, from India, from literally all over the planet, North America, South America, Europe, etc. We are part of a world movement. And Yogananda could have his own personal inclination, just as a person, was to be very quiet and lost in God, just in the bliss of God, roaming by the Ganges with an extremely simple life. And yet that was not the destiny that God called him to. And we would not be here, we would not be connected with this tradition or if he had not done that, if he had not brought this to the West. So we honor that from our hearts. And we are trying to express that vision or express that experience in such a way that as to inspire people to follow along with it. Because what he brought was real power, was real grace to move us forward on our spiritual lives, in our spiritual lives. So come this Saturday. This program begins at 5:30 p.m. It goes until 8 o'clock p.m. Again, these are Pacific times. And we invite you from our hearts to join us. We'll share music, chanting, discourses. There will be time for questions and answers of Jyotish and Devi later on. And this is just a time to sort of bask in the presence and the blessing that Yogananda brought, and to offer our heartfelt thanks to him for enriching our lives and sharing the blessings and grace that he brought with him to the West and to all of us. Namaste.